On October 14th, 2023, a ring of fire solar eclipse passed directly over the American Southwest. I spent a lot of time searching Google Earth for a cool spot to see it. Eventually, I stumbled across this massive cliff overlooking Monument Valley. It was when I started looking for campsites on the edge of this cliff that I noticed something odd. The cliffside was not a straight line, as you would expect. It looked more like a giant zigzag. And then I zoomed in, and suddenly I understood why. This cliffside is composed of hundreds, maybe even thousands, of massive, geometrically perfect cubes and rectangles. This immediately piqued my interest and got me thinking, is it possible for a perfect cube to exist in nature? What would it look like when one of these comes crashing down? And what else is there to find here? I ended up watching the eclipse somewhere else with two of my friends, during which I apparently took them on the scariest hike of their life. And when we were done, they immediately drove home because they were, quote, traumatized. But that's a story for another time. I had to go see these cubes before they fall, so I set out to find them. I ended up staying here for a lot longer than I expected and finding things completely out of my explanation.
What is this?
Most amazingly, perhaps, evidence that I am not the first person to be fascinated by these objects.
You can see there's several humanoid drawings. One right here, one right here, and right there. And the craziest thing is that they're located right on the edge of this amazing view. Oh my gosh, look at that thing. So at one point, that tip would have fit perfectly right here. But then something underneath this stone eroded away and it toppled outwards. Here's the blocks I was looking at on Google Earth. It looks like one of these cubes is just missing. There's no denying that that is 4 perfect 90-degree angles. And it kind of makes you wonder, where did the middle block go? I think these 2 blocks were actually at one point together, and it probably leaned up against this wall right here, and then it fell over, and then it split in half and became 2 separate blocks. These rocks are really like huge Legos. It's pretty awesome. I thought that one was bad. Oh, that's freaky. This block, this one is almost a perfect cube. And you know what? I actually brought a tape measure, so I'm actually going to measure this and see if it is. This tape measure only goes 12 feet, but I'm going to try to measure the volume of this cube. That's about 12 feet right there. 20 feet wide. .5 feet. I'm going to try to measure the height next. Alright, that is 12 feet, and it looks about 2/3 of the way to the bottom.
Okay, quick math here. I'm going to generously assume that underneath the ground, there's a good chance that this cube extends for another 2 feet. And I think I left a foot off of this ruler, measuring its width. In this case, the dimensions of this cube are 20 feet by 21.5 feet by 21 feet. And therefore the volume is 9,030 square feet. The internet tells me sandstone is about 12.5 pounds per square foot, which seems kind of light, but we're going to go with it. Therefore, this almost cube weighs about 112,875 pounds, which is about the weight of a military tank. More to come on this in a second.
So what we are standing on is a 3-dimensional cube that was created completely naturally. And this entire cliff is just composed of thousands of these. So I will admit that I used to play a lot of Minecraft when I was younger. And this definitely reminds me of the blocks. It'd be a stone block. I don't have a pickaxe with me, so I can't mine it. We're gonna measure this bad boy. 12 feet at that snowball. Hey. Perfectly 3 segments of my 12-foot tape measure. So it's 31 feet long, 36 feet wide, and where that fork ends the bottom. I'm estimating it's about halfway down. All right, so it looked like the tape measure got to about there. If we had extended the tape measure again, it probably would have reached somewhere close to the bottom overhang, probably another 6 feet down. And I would say this is pretty darn close to being about 32 feet down. So we can calculate the cubic feet of this object. Let me do it real quick.
Okay, future Nolan is going to step in here 2 seconds before past Nolan embarrasses himself.
So maybe we could actually calculate. I'm really not good at math.
What I was trying to say is, we could calculate the potential energy of this object and how much energy it could expend upon falling off of this cliff. The dimensions of this object are 36 feet by 31 feet by 32 feet. The volume equals 35,712 feet. Sandstone, as we know, is 12.5 pounds per square foot, meaning this much larger cube weighs about 446,400 pounds, which is about the weight of a jumbo jet or the Statue of Liberty. The potential energy of this object, if it fell 1,200 feet to the bottom, is 726 megajoules of energy, which is equivalent to 177 pounds of TNT. I would love to get the internet's help on this problem. The first atomic bomb dropped was equivalent to 16,000 tons of TNT. Is there enough mass on the top of this cliff, which is called Muley Point, to equal the energy of an atomic bomb? And anything else interesting you could think of about the huge amount of energy of this cliff? I would love to hear from you. Also, if my math is totally wrong, feel free to let me know in the comment sections below.
This cliff has a huge amount of potential energy when all of these rocks come crashing down. Wow. What are you doing there, rock? Hello. So where we came from today is all the way at the end of that point right there. That's where we saw the petroglyphs. Yeah, wow. Now here's another amazing aspect of this. Those petroglyphs that we saw at the end of the cliff make me wonder if maybe Native Americans we're using the natural overhangs and cavernous spaces underneath these cubes as a potential shelter or habitat. All right, we must be approaching the end of this cliff here pretty soon. So hopefully I find a way up here pretty soon. What in the world did I just find? What is this? I have never seen rocks like this. This looks like coral reef. Oh my gosh. What is this? Look at it. There's all these little micro bubbles. It's kind of like bubble rocks, but just tiny. What kind of rock is this? What in the world? Where did this come from? Look at it, it's all over here. Like that rock looks like it's crawling, or little organisms. I can't even get to where I want to go. I just can't stop finding things. quite far. That mile-long shadow you see out there is the shadow of the cliff that we're standing on. What a beautiful place. All right, that's where I'm gonna sign off today. We have found ourselves at one of the largest overviews I have ever seen. What a beautiful place. I am so grateful to be here. Anyways, hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, let me know. This is Nolan Fisher, aka the POV channel, and have a good rest of your day.